Yo, welcome to the New Normal Podcast. Today I got an extra fire topic for y'all. Me and Sid today gonna discuss how his baby mama tried to run him over with a car. This is a topic that I did not think anybody was gonna be honest about or talk about, but when I posted it on Facebook, a lot of people was telling me they were either behind the wheel or they were in front of the car, and said happened to be the one that was in front of the car. Introduce yourself to the people out there.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Cedric. Dad of two twins, 2 years old. Trying to figure out this co-parenting thing, and it's a little ugly before it gets pretty. So I mean, we're kind of figuring it out as we go.
What does figuring it out means? How is that looking
Um,
right
Navigating, I mean, typically these situations tend to be high conflict in general, and unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is, words get thrown around, narcissists, abuse, trauma, all this stuff gets thrown around. And honestly, man, it's just weird because the courts and a lot of stuff don't really favor dads out the gate. And if you're not married, good luck. Good
Well,
luck.
we need to make sure we get onto this court system. So I posted this. You said you were in front of the car, but I made a post. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it was about picking up. I'm glad I don't have to worry about picking my kids up in a Walmart parking lot. Do you remember that post?
Yeah.
Have y'all had any pickups and drop offs? Have y'all had to do that?
Oh,
You
that's
didn't
all we do from day one.
pickups and drop offs?
We do pickup and drop offs. We start out at the parking lot at this parking garage in Colorado, and we had to move to the police station. We got to the point where we had to start moving stuff to the police station and kind of navigate it from there.
So y'all had to move to the police. Why? What was the incident that made y'all go to the police station?
The biggest incident was the whole car situation.
Uh-huh.
We did the drop offs, everything we do drop offs. I show up here, you show up here. We'd meet, but then we got into an argument over at drop off one time. She got in her feelings about whatever. And as I'm walking, I got the kids and putting the kids in the car, walking to get in my car. She just pulls out her parking spot, runs up on me. I jump back and I'm like, what are you doing? So the next day I go up to the garage that has the security cameras, and then mysteriously the camera was gone. The footage was gone, but she had been there earlier that day. So never got the video. The video that I could get didn't really show anything, but
Yeah.
nothing ever came of it. So I mean, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Nothing didn't actually get hit by anything. But I was just more like interesting. So I go get the footage, and it's mysteriously gone. But she was there probably 2-3 hours before I got there to get the same footage.
Damn. So she was there earlier to get the same footage?
Yeah, she went there to get the tapes because she tried. Oh, bro, she tried it all. She tried to build the whole you tried to throw me into a car, you tried slamming me into the car stuff, and I'm just like, come on, dude, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Yeah, that's
We're not. That's what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna do that. You're not gonna have me out here looking crazy like I'm trying to be some crazy baby daddy. I was to the point that time just, hey, I'm just trying to show up, get my kids, and keep moving.
yeah.
You know,
So we always ask women, and we always say this: did you see the signs before the kids, the relationship? Did you see the signs, or was it just a one day out the blue type thing? Or were you trying to make it work?
it was. Let's go back a little bit. We met fairly quickly.
Okay.
I was living in Denver. I went to Oklahoma for a conference, and I was like, I'm in town. Let me hop on Bumble and see what's up. Let's see what's in. I haven't been back home in a while. Let's hop on Bumble. Let's see what's going on.
Okay.
Got into town, downloaded the app, matched with her. We met we kind of hung out the whole week while I was in town. And so things moved kind of quickly. She said she had just moved there from Washington.
Okay.
Didn't want to live there. Didn't want to live in Oklahoma. And about 2 months later, 3 months later, she's moved to Colorado. And so
she moved to Colorado within how fast? How long?
within probably 4 to 6 weeks after us meeting.
Okay, so y'all moving pretty quick.
Pretty quick, yeah.
Okay. So how long before the children come into play?
Let's see. We met in September. She was there full time by November. Found out we were pregnant in January.
So
and had a kid.
She was pregnant longer than y'all were in a relationship.
Yeah, practically. Yeah.
Okay. You know,
Yeah.
they say that happens a lot, especially in today's culture, like hookup culture and stuff like that. So really you didn't have, I guess, the right amount of time to vet this woman, I would say.
Didn't have a lot of time. COVID was really serious. And we met 2019 and 2020. We got engaged in March of 2020.
Okay.
And literally we got engaged. Literally the next day, lockdown happened.
Dang, okay.
So it was, hey, you're engaged now. Lockdown. Now you're like, she had her own place and everything. I was like, you're pregnant. There's no point of having two places. We have no clue what this COVID thing's going to be like. There's no point. We've looked at rings previously, and now we're engaged. Like, there's no point of living in two houses. And then we didn't even know we were having twins at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're, figuring it out, new people, figuring each other out, here's and there's, in and out, quirks, likes, dislikes.
Mm-hmm.
And just, it's one of the things that could have been really good or really bad. And unfortunately, it started out pretty good and just,
Well, y'all had the honeymoon phase, and then pregnancy. If you've been through pregnancy with women, it could be beautiful, and then it could be very, very shitty, and that could be a literal term. It could be
right,
really shitty. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
it could be the ups and downs, and so you say y'all met y'all. She was living there full time in November. You find out she was pregnant in January.
Yeah.
So
Right
and
after
you were
Christmas, not too
trying.
long after Christmas.
Okay, and you were trying, I guess, trying to do the right thing by getting married before.
Well, so we talked about the reason she mainly moved there. She wanted somewhere new. I've been like single, laying low, grinding, taking care of business because my whole thing was I date to marry. My biggest thing is
Okay.
always date to marry. I grew up in like a kind of old school Christian home. Clearly, we didn't go the Christian route by doing this with the
Yeah.
pregnancy before marriage. So that was kind of our first mistake. But everything was planned. I mean, we talked about it. She's like, "Hey, I want to move out here. I want to do this." I'm like, "Okay, if we're gonna do it, let's get serious and do it." I'm more about action. I'm not about talking. And I want to get it done. If we're gonna do it, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so we talked about family. We talked about how she grew up. We talked about how I grew up. We both agreed to like, if we're gonna do this, like, we do not want our kids going through certain family situations that we both had gone through as kids. You know, and my parents have been married for 37 years now. 37 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And so in me, that's all I know. That's all I knew was mom, dad, same house, figuring it out, making it work.
Mm-hmm.
She unfortunately didn't grow up in the same, so she has her own things. Now, one day, if she talks about this, I'll let her talk about it. But for the most part, we just figured out we're going to be on the same page. And we talked about it. We're like, hey, if we're going to be doing this, if we get pregnant, what's going to happen? I'm like, well, we're talking about marriage. And by December, we already looked at wedding rings. I took her to the store. I'm like, I'm serious. Let's do it. I'm about that life.
Yeah.
We went to Shanko. Shout out Shanko. Appreciate you. Nice ring. Looked at rings. She had no clue I put the down payment for it, and we left in December. She had no clue how to ring, already getting paid for it, taking care of business.
Yeah.
And so from there, we were just, getting to know each other. We'd go out, do things together. And then one morning, she's just like, hey, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, okay, well, we talked about it. Let's do it. I'm down. Let's figure it out. You know, we joked about having twins. We did our first ultrasound. We are in the elevator cracking jokes about it. And then next thing you know, the doctor's like, hey,
Man.
there's 2 heartbeats. And
Ah.
we started laughing. And then she thought something was wrong. And I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong. We just literally joked about this 5 minutes ago. And so for me, I come from a big family. Her family's, it's a decent sized family. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I'm like twins. I'm the oldest of my siblings. And like, cool, I got twins. Of course I'd have twins the first shot, you
Yeah.
know? And so we just we're just trying to figure things out from there.
So during her pregnancy, was she ever like frantic about anything far as like how y'all was gonna raise them? Was it like well, we can't do this because when I grew up, I was raised like that. Oh, were you like that? Well, when I was growing up, I didn't like being raised like this, so we can't do this. Did y'all ever butt heads on how y'all were gonna parent?
We talked about this. I mean, I was always, for me, I'm blunt. So from day one, I came out the gate like, hey, I date for marriage. If we have family, this is how I was raised. I believe in this, 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 and this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was raised this way. I don't want to do this, this, and this. And we came to an agreement on all these things before we even the whole like I'm pregnant thing happened. So for me, I'm in like it's game time. I'm ready. Like I'm hyped. I'm bust my ass the last 5 years and make sure everything is in order. No
Mm-hmm.
debt, no drama, no nothing, no baby mama, no other girlfriends running up out of nowhere, like all that stuff. And so when she said I'm pregnant, I'm like, bet, let's do it. I'm about that life. It's game time, you know. And so I mean,
Ashanti asked, was she from a Christian background too? Can you see those comments?
I can't. Oh, there we go. I did see it. She wasn't. Her mom is a non-believer at all. Like, doesn't believe in God whatsoever. But
Uh,
we talked a little bit with her, and she's like, "Yeah, I have. I just kind of fell off for a little bit, but I've been getting back in church." And so that was my thing. Like, I need somebody. If I'm going to marry, we need to go to church together. We both went. We both hit the gym. We're both fitness people. So
mhm,
gym, church, figure out life together. Let's get a game plan, and that's how we approached everything.
mhm.
And so us being men, we get a plan. We're going tunnel vision. We're making it happen.
Right, right.
And so that's what I was doing. I was loose ends, whatever need to get taken care of. Hey, told my employer, hey, I got kids on the way. We're gonna have to start taking these time off of work when it comes to doctor's appointments and all that stuff. And so in my mind, I thought we were on the same. We thought we were good. And things were pretty cool for the most part until COVID happened, and man, that does mess with a lot of people. And with her being in a new state, I'm a new man. Now she's pregnant with 2 kids, hormones, world's going crazy. So we're looking at like this is insane. Like this is like it. It couldn't happen at a better or worse time.
Yeah,
And so
because
with
you
me,
would think with COVID being locked down and being together, y'all would have, like I said, it could have been either or, but that should have been a time for like since she was pregnant, like a good bonding time where y'all locked down. It's like we talking, the world's going crazy. You get to see how she acts in frantic situations. She gets to see how you act in like high stress situations. Do you maneuver a certain type of way where I feel like this person can protect me and my family?
right,
Just a level-headed woman. How are her hormones? Well, she's pregnant, so you didn't get a real chance to see her through a cycle. So, like, her mood swings through pregnancy, morning sickness, belly being big, feet being swollen, and like for me, both of my children, both pregnancies was a lack of sex. So actually,
that didn't happen. There was none of that.
you got it good. You
I
had it.
mean, we tried, but then it was like I can't, bro. Like I'm too big.
Yeah,
I can't do nothing. This is fan. Like it's not gonna work. I'm like, you know me. I'm like, okay, cool. I get it. Hey, baby, you're
yeah,
doing all the work here. I'm just making sure you're good. Like
yeah,
you need anything, like I got you. Like you don't want to cook anything. Here's my credit card. We're
yeah,
good. Here's my card. You want to sit in the house and you want the room to be a ice box freezer? I can't handle it, but I'll set it up for you, and I'll wear some sweatpants and chill on the couch or something while you pass out at 6 o'clock.
yeah,
And so, honestly, at the end of the day, I really thought we were on the same page, and everything seemed pretty normalish for as normal as 2020 could be.
yeah.
And so, but I also did understand that everything was new for her.
Hmm.
Knew everything, literally knew everything. New friends, no friends, no
Yeah.
family around. You know,
So how if you had to give it a percentage, how much of the plan that y'all set in place did she deviate from?
honestly, if we were on board 100% with everything, everything seemed honestly pretty normal. Because
Mhm,
when this thing happened, I literally just came out of left field. It just blew up, and I was just like, "What is happening here?"
mhm,
We went to all the doctor's appointments. We did the baby shower. We did it all. Like it was everything.
mhm.
And then I have some pretty solid female friends out here, good women, no drama, not messy. Like, hey, you need to link with these women. These are good women around. I don't mess with these chicks like that. Like, we're actually legitimate, cool friends. We've been friends since college. Like, we got like 10 years in the game of just friends, no hookups, no nothing. So these are legitimate women you can be cool with. But it just seemed like she just wasn't too on board about getting to know these people for the most part, you
Yeah.
know. And so then I did really kind of notice she's more. I don't know if it's just because the world, everything was happening, but she just kind of seemed more standoffish. Like I'm gonna be in my little bubble here, and that's it.
So what was like the the breaking point or when you notice, hey, this relationship isn't going to work? What happened?
It was like we fought. I mean, we argued. It wasn't never like crazy. It was no drag out, cuss out, stuff like that. I mean, we had our moments. I mean, and then she would tell me she did. I think some mental issues, health issues, kind of came into play. Depression kind of came in. Being pregnant, hormones.
So
You know,
was it depression or was it like pregnancy related? Like is it something that you
I
feel
think it's postpartum.
like,
I think honestly, at the end of the day, I mean, I thought it was postpartum because I didn't know this stuff until I didn't have a reason to look up pregnancy and all this stuff and what women go through until what happened. And
mhm,
so I'm trying to be on top of my game. Like, all right, I hear postpartum's a thing, and she has to get C-sections. And so when you get a C-section, that drastically increases your levels of postpartum. Like, it's
mhm,
insane. Like, astronomically increases it for you. And so I'm studying. I'm like, got baby books out. We're ordering books from Amazon. We're doing it all. You know.
Yeah,
And so,
having kids is scary, and I understand because me and my wife, we planned. She planned to have both of our children vaginally, and the last one it didn't go so well, and it was emergency C-section.
mm,
So her being like cut on, and the baby coming out, then he had health problems, was in the NICU for like 3 months.
oh
So
wow,
yeah, it was probably the biggest fight of our like relationship, and it was we don't have like big fights, but that one there about our child, what we should do. Should they have a feeding tube put? Should he have a feeding tube put in? Should he not? Are the doctors doing the best that they can do? How many times do I got to continue to go cuss these people out about my child?
right? It's
Uh,
serious when the kids get involved. It's serious.
like, bro, like one time, this is me being transparent. One time, bro, we had to have a whole meeting, like 3 or 4 meetings, because we go in there one day, that morning, and the doctor said, "Yeah, we're going to stop his medication, his pain meds, right?" Come back the next day, and on his chart they had that he has pain medication. So I'm like, because
Huh?
the faster they can get off all the medications and stuff like that, seem to be coping with life and stuff like that,
Right.
they can come home.
Right.
One of the nurses had told us, and it's a woman that some women don't, some people just don't know when to shut up. But
Right.
it kind of was a blessing to actually speed up the process of my son coming home. But she says, if the if the nighttime nurses feel like your baby's whining too much, even if they're not in pain, they'll give them pain medication so they'll just go to sleep.
Oh, so we're just basically doping the baby up to get him to be quiet.
Basically.
Ah, see,
So,
no.
like, bro, when I
Mm,
say it was some crazy stuff, bro, going on in that period of time. So we had to have that meeting. Then it was another issue about calcium. So calcium, I didn't know calcium was a big thing and stuff. I didn't know calcium was a big thing in like brain development and stuff like that, in
oh
your
yeah.
heart, in your heartbeat and stuff, right? So we had another issue. One lady that's supposed to be the specialist, she comes in there and she has this calculation of how the calcium is supposed to be calculated so they can know the type of medicine, basically medicine issue.
Right.
The nurses have a whole nother calculation on how they're calculating it. So they have to seriously, all of them in a meeting with me to figure this calculation out. And then they just say, well, we're just gonna go by the specialist calculation. I'm like, bitch, ain't that what the fuck she here for? She's
Right. To
like,
be
bro, they
close to
was
the
like,
subject.
but she's the specialist. I'm like, why aren't you going with what the specialist is saying? Like, why do you have a whole nother calculation and chart and stuff like that?
Right.
So it was stuff after stuff, bro. So UAB is one of the top hospitals in America, right?
Right.
And so they have a lot of students come around, right? So me and my wife sitting there, my baby laid up, and he has a rare skin condition that happens to him, and it's like only 10, they only have 10 cases that they have like case studies for. That's
Oh
how
wow.
rare it is, right? So they don't know what's going on, what causing this reaction. So this random lady comes in there and she just starts rolling him over, and he's in pain, like blisters all over his body, he's in pain and stuff like that. And she's
Y'all
like,
are losing y'all shit.
so she says she's a doctor, right? So he's like, okay, she's looking at him thinking, come to find out it was a student. And she was, I guess, fascinated by what was going on because, like I told you, the case is so rare
Ain't
that
just looking at my kid like a science project.
right. And so, bro, we
Mm-mm.
that was another thing we had. I was like, bro, don't have no students in my son's room looking at him. So, like, the students had like to skip his room and stuff like that. It was so much bullshit that went on. And the reason that I'm telling this story,
Wow.
I know it's about you, is that when it comes to pregnancy, so much, it's so many ups and downs and variables left and right, and you thinking this, and she agreeing to stuff that you thinking that she's logically thinking about, but when a woman's pregnant, I didn't know this, they brain shrinks.
Pregnancy brain.
Yeah, so I
Real.
didn't
It's
know that.
real.
like
It's real.
it's like this person agrees with me, but now she's acting irrational on something that I thought we had a rational conversation with. And so you meeting somebody and getting them pregnant basically within like 5 months, and then having to deal with pregnancy with them during COVID lockdown, her
Right.
new place, you trying to understand kids, y'all having twins, mood swings up and downs. I know that could be very, very difficult.
It was. I think. I mean, it could have been obviously could have been way worse, but we got really lucky. She was high risk because she's having twins,
Yeah.
So with her lockdown, she was at home. I worked 6 blocks from my house, from my apartment at the time, so I
Okay.
was like, if you need anything, I can come over for lunch. You're already on alert, so if I need to come to the house and check on you or something, just give me a call. Like I'm
Yeah.
that close to the house. We got very lucky, man. We would go on walks every day. Man, we did the appointments. All the appointments were smooth. She had a really healthy pregnancy. She had to go on a diet for a little bit, because they test for like diabetes and all that stuff,
Right.
pregnancy diabetes and all that stuff. But for the most part, and I'm saying it went pretty smooth. I'm not the one having to carry 2 babies.
Right. I
So
got
from the outside looking in, I'm like, hey, are you good? Like, are we good? We would talk every day. When I was the only person she really talked to. I was her boyfriend,
yeah.
or now fiance at the time. So I'm like, are we good? We go for walks, we talk, and we just hang out. I mean, we got to really hang out for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking things were cool. We had a little falling out. She had a dog at the time, but she sent the dog back to her mom's house in Oklahoma because she's like, I'm pregnant. I don't want to be out here trying to walk a dog and do all this nonsense,
Yeah.
And so we did that. But then come to find out, COVID happens and lockdown happens. And so I'm like, dang it, we could have kept the dog here. At least she has somebody to hang out with during the day when I'm at work.
Yeah.
Something to hang out with, to do something.
Right.
But for the most part, we did daily walks. We would do stuff as much as we could until she's like, I can't just walk like that anymore.
Yeah.
Like I just can't. And so I did notice like it's her moods and stuff. It's moods and hormones. And so I'll try to give her a benefit of the doubt. One of my friends had given birth probably like 4 or 5 months before, she was pregnant before. So I'm like, hey, talk to my best friend. She just went through this. Clearly, you might even hate the way I breathe sometimes. And she said, I hated my dude's way. He would chew food. I would hate it. If I
Yeah.
smelled anything weird, I would hate it. So like, just stay calm. Don't take it personal, And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, I'm getting some advice from my mom and my sister. My sister has 6 kids. She's a
Oh,
beast.
dang. Okay.
She knocked out 6, and she had 2 twins after my 2, 3 months later.
Oh, dang. Okay.
And so I'm talking to him. I'm like, am I tripping? They're like, do I need to go for a walk or something? Like, yeah, just go for a walk because it's not. Don't take it personal. And so I'm like, okay, cool, I can do that. But I mean, if it got to the point where I couldn't, I just go outside.
Yeah.
Hey, I love you. Same team, I promise. I'm just gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna walk around the block real quick. Kind of chill out. And so I'm thinking things are cool. She would go to bed at 6. I get off work at 5. So I'm like, babe, I'm not going. I love you. I'm not going to bed this early. Like go lay down. Let me know if you need food. I'm just gonna chill in the living room watching TV and hang out. But during that time, I'm like looking at YouTube videos for postpartum, what to expect during pregnancy, trying to read the baby books and all that stuff. And then it just seemed like seemed like a switch kind of just flipped.
Mm-hmm.
But then she would also say like, hey, I'm depressed. I'm like, hey, let's talk about it. Look, what can we do? Like I miss my family. I want to see family. Like I understand that, but it's COVID. We can't really do too much,
Mm-hmm.
And you're really high risk. You're twins, and she has to have a C-section no matter what. She had to.
Okay.
They told her that from the very beginning. It's like, hey, with your history, you have to get a C-section. So I'm like, we need to make sure you're eating right. You're getting enough rest. We got to stay on top of this game,
Yeah.
And it just seemed, unfortunately, when mom came to visit, things just got weird.
Her mom?
Do what?
You said when her mom came to visit?
Her mom came and visited. She's like, my mom's going to be here for 3 days. I'm like, no, let her stay for the week, I met her mom for the first time. Hey, by the way, I'm Cedric. Your daughter's pregnant.
Hold on. So listen. So her mom's come to visit. What month? How far along pregnant was she?
This is 2 weeks before the kids were born.
Okay, you haven't met her mom still.
So I met her mom back in January. Okay. No, February. We told her we found out in January. Her mom came and visited the end of January.
Okay.
And then I was like, hey, by the way, I'm Cedric. And she's like, hey, we have news. We're pregnant. Mm-hmm. So like, hi, new guy, potential son-in-law. You don't know yet because no one had a clue. I got the ring already, Yeah. And so she's like, everybody's excited. The dinner, we go out and stuff, and then we kind of hang out.
So the first time you meet her mom, you tell her that y'all pregnant too.
Yeah. We talked on the phone before. We talked. Okay. We introduced each other. We talked on the phone before that, but just in person meeting. It was just like, by the way, You're gonna be a grandma. Hi. You know.
I got you. I got you.
And so things seemed really cool. Her mom seemed pretty cool, even though she didn't believe in God and all that stuff. She came to church with us, which is cool. Like, hey, I appreciate that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also in my head not thinking we might split up one day and all this stuff. So I'm not like, whatever. If she doesn't, that's her prerogative. But you know, me in the house that I live in, we're gonna do this. You know, we're gonna go to church. We're gonna do things the right way. Obviously, when the right way, we should have got married first. Didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
So, you know, we got to figure it out.
Ashanti said, "How did the mom respond to the news of her daughter being pregnant?"
Oh, she was stoked. Oh, they're jumping, they're hugging, they're crying. I'm just like, yay, high five, everybody. You know, like so it was a really joyous thing. Everybody's excited. It was all cool. You know.
Okay, so hold on. So your baby mama ex fiance is a white woman, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Now I seen pictures. I seen pictures.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
So the reason I asked, I'm laying that down because you know sometimes interracial dating, some places is still iffy, some places is cool, some people and family. So did any of her family members seem a little weirded out by her being with a black guy? Did she normally typically date black guys or what?
Not to my knowledge, I don't think she really did. I mean, she probably did. We never really talked. We never really talked. Like we talked about people, our actual boyfriend, not like dating history stuff, like what types of people we typically date. She's a fitness person, so we at least we
Yeah,
dated people in the industry kind of thing, you know, kind of
yeah.
did that. But no, her mom was super cool, super cool. Never got some weird vibe from him like that. And then when we took her dog down in February, like 2 weeks later, I got to like stay at her house with her and her family, met her grandparents that live with her and all that stuff, and her stepdad. So we all got to hang out and vibe and kick it. It was a great time. Like I had a great time. I'm thinking she met my family on that trip, and so we're all hanging out. She's meeting my 1,000 nieces and nephews that I have. And so we did the whole thing. We did the whole like introductions. Everybody got to see each other. And then we went back to Colorado and, you know, kind of just buckled down and start focusing on, you know, getting everything ready.
Okay.
And so I never got the weird vibe. I mean, she said she got depressed a little bit. And so I'm not the
So
biggest.
what did depression look like for her? Like what changed when she said she was depressed? What changed? Like her mood? Like what did you notice?
Just she'd be down. She'd be pretty down sometimes, you know, like, or she'd just be like, I just want to sleep. But I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, me being a logical dude, I'm like, okay, you're pregnant. Of course you want to sleep. But hey, have at it. Knock yourself out. Like, I'm here. You need anything, call me. Let me know. I got it, you know. But then she would like, hey, I miss my dog. I miss my family. And this is plus it's COVID, so nobody can go anywhere. So everybody's missing their family. I'm like, hey, I understand that. This is out of our control right now. All we can do is focus on making sure you're healthy, everything's in order, and make stuff as less stressful as possible for you, you know.
So what was the conversation y'all had to just say, hey, this isn't going to work? What kind of conversation? How did that
Oh,
conversation?
there was no conversation. It was 2 weeks before the kids were born. We had a so as we got a little bit farther along in the pregnancy, I could see the mood changes and mood swings and stuff like that. And I'm like, I got to one point, I'm like, hey, I need to know what's up. Like, you're very off right now. Things are kind of weird. I'm not understanding what I'm missing here. Like, talk to me. Like, tell me what's going on here, you know? And then when she's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, what do you know about? Like, we're on the same team. I'm here. Like, I got your back. We got this. Like, we got a game plan already figured out, you know? I'm like, I'm gonna be real with you. It just seems like either you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I need to know if I'm in this by myself or not, kind of situation. And she's like, no, you're not. But then she said some slick, and then she was just like, you know what? I'll just go to Oklahoma and take the kids with me and have the kids there. And I'm like, the fuck, you're not. We're not doing that. We're gonna figure this out because we're adults, kind of thing, you know. And then things got thrown. Not on my end. I backed up.
Things got thrown.
Oh yeah, I mean, she never got violent before.
It wasn't a counter, was it?
No, it was one of those metal Nalgene glass mugs. One of those things, you know, and threw it at me, and I was like, "Oh, that's what we do now." Well, that's not cool.
Hold on. So this is getting crazy right now. So y'all whole relationship is cool.
Everything seemed cool, man.
Not really any fighting, not nothing, no real conversations of going back to Oklahoma. Like I don't want to be here. It just one day
we literally never had a conversation about moving back to Oklahoma ever.
And no, like, hey, no breakups, no nothing.
No potential breakups, no moving back home. I told her, like, hey, I'm glad you're willing to move from Oklahoma because I don't want to move back. Like, I haven't been back home in 15 plus. I mean, I visit family, but I haven't lived here in over 14, 15 years at the time, you know? And so she's like, no, I don't want.
She just flips and throws some at you.
we argued, and then she's like, well, what did you say? And just launches it at me. And I'm like, oh, really? That's what we do now. And I was
Did
like,
he hit you?
yeah. But it's like, I'm a big dude. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter big or not. You shouldn't do stuff like that regardless.
Right.
But I was like, ooh, I was like, you know what? I'm on my lunch break. I need to go back to work before I say something. So I'm covered in this. She had some juice or something in. I'm covered in this drink all this whole time. And then she's apologizing. She's crying, like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, don't touch me. I need to get out the area for a second. I'm gonna go back to work. I'm gonna chill out. And so I spent like the last half of the day working, but then pissed off my managers off. I'm like, bro, I don't know what's going on, dude. Like, this is weird. Like, she'd never been this way before. I never expected her to act this way. And we go back and she's packing the bag, talking about, I'm gonna stay somewhere, I'm gonna stay in a hotel. And I'm like, why? You got aggressive with me. You crossed the line with me. I didn't retaliate. And instead of retaliating, some dude would have went upside your head. I just wasn't raised that way.
Yeah.
You know? And I went back to work. I said, I went back to work. Like,
So
you
hold
can
on.
come back and talk this out.
You said earlier her mom had came and she acted a little weird.
This is before her mom came. No, actually, this is literally the day after her mom left from visiting. So this is her mom stayed
mom
for a week.
came, then y'all get into an argument and she throws something at you.
We argue in front of her. When her mom was there, we were cool for the first couple of days, and then we had a couple of arguments in front of with her mom there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm like talking like, what is this? Like, who is this person? Like, why are you behaving, acting brand new now that your mom's here? Like, you don't act like this until your mom got here. All of a sudden, you wanna say some slick mess, you wanna cuss at me like you don't know what's going on here. And I checked him like, I don't know who the fuck you're talking to. And now it is in front of her mom. Like, I don't play that shit. Like, you don't talk to me like that ever. Just because your mom here doesn't mean you're gonna start. You know, like, we're not playing that game.
So do you think she had like any emotional abuse as a kid, or her mama inflicted anything on her? She didn't grow up in the best upbringing, or
my thing with her is she claimed she was abused in a previous relationship. She was in a long-term relationship. She said was abused. Her parents split up when she was like 10 or something. So he was kind of they weren't really close or nothing like that. And honestly, and when it comes to her family, the men in her family, they just weren't up to par kind of thing, you know? And so in her mind, she sees mom being queen bee. You do what I tell you how I want it done. And I'm like, no. I'm a little old school. We ain't doing that. Like, I ain't say you got to be barefoot in the kitchen, but we ain't doing that.
Yeah, the man.
You want to be a stay-at-home mom. This is what it entails. You want to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm cool with that. But doesn't mean you get to start acting all like crazy and stuff. Now, we ain't doing that. Like, I see how your mom acts with your stepdad, and all you do is both of y'all trash your dad all the time. So you don't really have respect for men in your family, you know?
Oh, okay.
And so I'm seeing that. And then when your mom gets here, you're acting like this now. Like, you're starting to behave this way. I'm like, we're not doing that. Like, you weren't like this beforehand. So what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, and what's up?
So do you think her mom might have been an influence to make her act like that? Not saying that her presence, but maybe saying something in her ear when you was around, or
it could have been that. Maybe she couldn't put in her front this whole time, and then her mom came in so she felt like she had backup. I don't know. I really, to this day, I don't really know. And because I said that we agreed to raise our kids in a Christian household. When you don't have a parent that doesn't believe in God at all,
yeah,
or the way a structure of marriage is supposed to be structured in a Christian relationship, you can't really give insight on that because you don't believe in that as it is. So,
right.
And I would talk to her even later. I'm like, who are you talking to this whole time? We're having struggles. Like, my homegirl, I would have her come talk to you, but I get it. That's my friend. So you don't think you can really talk to her how you want to talk to her. You know, it's like my parents been married for 36 years. I have friends that have been married 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. So I have a good solid core of good people to talk to.
Yeah.
You know, her mom didn't believe in God, so I'm not sure what was going on in their conversations. Her best friend was going through a divorce at the time, and so she's MIA. And so I'm just like, okay, I can see how you feel like you may not have nobody to talk to. I'm trying to like be logical about this stuff, you know, kind of understand what's happening here.
Yeah.
You know,
you seem like a pretty, level-headed guy, you know.
Bro, I've been planning to be a dad for my entire life. This whole marriage, getting married and having kids, that's been my goal since I was a little kid. Anybody knows me knows Sedge wants like 6 kids. I still want 6 kids, even after the craziness of courts and all this stuff. I still want a big family. I'm from a big family. Both my parents are from 9 to 8 siblings each. Yeah. So this is in my DNA. All my siblings have at least 5 kids. So like that's just us. You know, we're close knit with our family. We hang out together. We talk trash. We have our own group chat together. You know, we do all these things together. It just wasn't the same for her with her family environment. Yeah. So it's with her, my family. We're doing our family thing. She's not that close to her family. I have a good, solid friend group. Doesn't really have too many friends. And so it's just like, and then constantly hearing like, oh, you're lucky. Sed's about that life. He's going, hey, he got you. And then hearing that. And then I'm like, low-key, sometimes she would say something like, you know we're on the same team, right? Like, you kind of sound like a hater a little bit. We're on the team here. Like, me being successful, and I do commercials and TV stuff too, and I was killing it at the time. I was just some 3 or 4 back-to-back commercials. So I'm like, we have nothing to worry about. All we have to do is just be pregnant and have babies. That's it.
And you know what? That's the crazy part about men and women is, like you said, you laid the groundwork and you had the plan and whatnot. And in your mind, it's like, as a man, it's like it can all be so simple.
Super simple.
But with women, they always come in with disruption. I don't know what it is. I don't care what background they from. I don't care if they come from 2-parent household. I don't care. It's like if you make it very, very peaceful, a woman will find a way to disrupt it because
It was
women,
so easy. It was hard. It was so easy. It had to be hard. So it had to make something hard about it.
but she grew up in a hard environment. So you got to understand that if you grew up as a daughter under your mother, bashing your father, and she talked to her stepdad a certain type of way, it was only a matter of time before that spilled out on you. And
Right.
then you said she had a prior relationship where it was abuse. You didn't think that prior relationship she told you about abuse was a red flag, or
We talked about it, but she would never go into detail about it. And I mean, I have a couple friends that are actually like certified therapists, and I was like, hey, what's up? She won't talk to me. Like, honestly, man, like, it could be anything. It could be anything. And nowadays, you can sneeze the wrong way; it could be considered abuse. And so,
yeah,
man, I've had friends that were abused. I've had beat ups and dudes that are abusing my female friends. So I'm like, okay, I know what this really is, and I can't tell you in your truth and stuff what it is. But what you're trying to portray right now is nothing how it went down.
yeah,
I never dogged you out, never cussed, cheated, put my hands on you, nothing like that. So if you want to try to act like this is what it is, it's not that type of party. And I'm sorry, right is right. I'm old school. Right is right, and wrong is wrong.
right,
You know, and I try to do everything right. I'm not perfect by any means. You know, I'm not some angel. I say some slick shit every once in a while, only because I'm like, okay, you've been running your mouth for like a week now. You got to check yourself.
yeah,
You're my girl. You're my fiance. My job as about to be a husband and father is to protect you in every aspect.
yeah.
If you want to come at me sideways, I'll give you that smoke. I promise you, I'll give you the same energy. But we don't need that if we don't need to have that. But
So Shanti said,
let me see.
sometimes women feel like having conflict. Sometimes to fight for is them fighting for their love. They feel like if it's too much stillness, there's not enough love in a relationship, which is the
That's
stupidest.
crazy to me.
Bruh,
That's a female. That has to be a female thing.
you
That
got
has to be.
no, bruh. It is a female thing, but what I've learned is when it's too good, women want you to hit all of their emotions. They have to have all of their emotions hit. So you have to be like, you'll listen to a woman's list. He got to be a doctor, but he got to have some hood in him. He got to, know how to be
I'm from the
smooth.
suburbs.
You
Ain't
know,
nothing good about me.
no, I understand what you said, but I'm saying these are the type of lists that women will come up with and say, and it's like this shit is so asinine, the stuff that you're
Why?
saying,
Like, keep it
because
easy.
like let's keep it. What else used to tell us in school? Keep it simple,
Keep it
stupid.
simple, stupid.
And it's like, why are y'all making this more difficult than what it has to be? And even her, she understood what I was saying, and that might have sounded logical to her, but it's like, why you want to cause conflict and quote unquote have a fight as if I'm fighting for your love when I'm here
Why do we have to
me,
fight?
me as a right, me as a man showing you my love is paying bills for one, housing
Oh,
you,
bro,
like
I did some stupid stuff in my younger years, so I definitely had to dig myself out of a hole. And I was like, hey, I know marriages are biggest for money. Money's a big thing when it comes to marriage. I don't believe in divorce, so we're gonna do this, and that ain't gonna be the reason. And I ain't gonna cheat on you, so we gotta figure something gonna have to happen outside of that, you
yeah.
know.
So
But I just told her, I was just like, it just seems like I don't like for some reason it just seems like you just want to fight.
yeah,
My house, I'm old, like I even put the oil over my doors. Every door went in my house. I'm not like old school like that. Like my house is my sanctuary. It's my place
I
of peace.
understand. Everything you said, I understand, bro.
Bro, my place is
Same
peaceful.
background.
Peace. Like I don't need no drama. I
Right,
deal with clowns at work. I don't want to come deal with no nonsense at home.
right.
And I get you by yourself, so you're gonna dump all that on me. Give me 2 seconds, I got you. You
Yeah,
know, and I would kind of just chill. I would go downstairs, kind of chill before I come upstairs, and I'm down. What do you want to do? I'm all ears. What do you want? What do you want? Like I'm here. Talk to me.
Yeah.
And I was cool with that. Never got annoyed. Never was like, oh, you're annoying, leave me alone. I'm just like, I'm here. As a man, I see it logically. Like, I am your outsource for everything right now because
Mhm.
you don't have family. The world's literally shut down. You can't do anything. So
Yeah.
of course you're gonna come to me, and I was cool with that. That was never a problem with me.
Right. Because you understand that the health of your children is dependent on the house that you create for both all of them.
Exactly.
And so that's very important. And we have that simple understanding. And as men, we feel like that's the least we could do because, like you said, we're not the ones carrying the
Are you
kid.
hungry? Do you need a back rub? You want a bath or something? I can do these things. I just can't carry the baby. I can't hold the stomach for you and carry the weight for you. I can't do none of that for you.
And
You know?
actually, as men, that makes you feel good to be able to do that type of stuff for your lady.
Oh, it felt like
Pregnant.
I would have beat up a whole army for this chick at that time, bro. I'm like, you need something, I got you. Like, say it. Just, hey, give me the word. I'll fight
Yeah.
everybody. Like, I'm down. Like, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, and and that's the crazy part. I don't think a lot of women understand. Like, we do not diminish your responsibility or what it takes to carry a child, but it's sometimes when we talk about the things that go on with pregnancy, it's like we get overshadowed because you're pregnant. You know what I'm saying? And I've actually been in like father groups on new it's called like new daddy groups on Facebook,
Okay.
and it was pretty like insightful. And one of the common things, like I said, you was lucky to still, have a sex filled pregnancy. Well,
Oh, no, it didn't happen. She got pregnant. That would not happen anymore.
oh, y'all
No.
didn't have sex.
We tried, and then she's like, I can't. I'm
Okay,
like,
so
okay,
yeah, that's what I
cool.
thought.
Hey,
No,
it's
we
part of the
we
game. It is what it is. I'm gonna be married to you for life. It don't care to
yeah,
me. I can miss out for this right now. I'm good. It's whatever.
and so in the group that I was in, I'm in a couple, but in the group I was in, most of the men had the same thing. I'm in a pregnancy. I'm going through a pregnancy with my wife, girlfriend, baby mama, whatever, and we're not having sex, right? Some of these guys didn't have sex with their wives for 2+ years because the baby,
Ooh.
yeah, the baby postpartum, or the L's and flow, she didn't feel like it,
And
or
you don't want to be a douchebag and say something and be on her ass about it.
right. And then she was or the women be like, I don't feel sexy. I've gained a lot of weight. You don't look at me the same. Like, it was so much
Oh,
stuff
I'm a
that you
creep. I'm
see.
a creep. I'm a creep. I was like, hey, I'm down. What's up, big belly? Bring that on over here.
But see, the guys in the group, they were like, "Hey, I'm really struggling because it's this chick at my job. I want to knock her off. I haven't had sex in three years, 2 years, a year and a half. Like, I'm trying to tell my wife, my girlfriend, hey, I got to release this. This chick over here looking nice, hot, tight in the office, throwing his pussy at me. What you expect me to do if you not? You know what I'm saying?
I got lucky. It wasn't like that. I was all in. It didn't cross my mind to go mess with some female. Like, I would go out, and even at the time, like, I was had my commercial money coming in, so I'd come home, checks in the mail,
Yeah,
$5,000 here, $3,000 here, and she looked at me like, "What?" And I'm like, "Hey, we're good." And then I even started like doing some T-shirts and stuff here. I had my boy. We had bought a press printer to make shirts. While she's at home sleep, I'm out making money. I'm like, hey, we're stacking up. We're gonna have this money. Like, we're gonna be stacked.
yeah.
So when these kids come, I have 16 weeks of paid time off for parental leave. So like,
That's
we're gonna
good. They
we
normally
got
don't
this.
give men that. That's
Oh,
real.
they never. A lot of places don't. And I was like, I have 16 weeks. We got nothing but time. We just get to chill out, relax, and be families. Get
Yeah.
be new parents. And I come from a background of childcare. Like, my mom ran a nursery for years.
Hmm.
I would work with her, and then I would volunteer in my church nursery. So like, I've been newborn babies till middle school, high school, my entire life dealing with kids. So for me, it's like second nature. And I'm Uncle Said. So all my friends that have kids, you want to babysit? I got you. I'm coming over right now. Or one of my best friends, she lived in different cities. Like, hey, such as my husband has to work, I got to work. I was like, well, I just quit my job. I'll start my new job in Denver in like 3 weeks. I was like, I'll crash on your couch. I don't care. I stayed out there and took care of her kid all day. We watching TV. We're going to the park. We're doing all that stuff. So for me,
Yeah.
I've always been about children. That's my life.
Maybe family scared her.
It When you don't grow up in that kind of environment, I think it's foreign, and your comfort zone
Yeah,
can be
I'm
chaos.
I talked to actually a couple chicks where coming to my house with my parents and seeing how we laugh and play and joke and crack on each other, and it's so free, and the energy in the
Yeah,
house is so loving and caring, and you leave and almost like I've never been in something like that, or I've never been to
that's what that
nobody
sure is.
been to nobody's house like that. And I'm like, what do you mean? Where y'all just laugh and play, and y'all energy is just good and it's free flowing. And I'm like, why is that so foreign? And I didn't understand, especially as black people, how many people don't grow up in an environment with both their parents.
No,
That loving and seeing your parents be affectionate and on each other, and that type of stuff, like the Huxtables type of lifestyle. Most people don't get a chance to see that or experience it, so it can be overwhelming when you don't come from it, or you don't know how to manage it or maintain it. Because a lot
right.
of people, I think more people than not, are self sabotagers.
Honestly, then I think that's what it is. I
Yeah,
really think that's what it was. I mean, and it's unfortunate it played out the way it played out, but she didn't grow up with that family. She's not close with her siblings. They don't get along.
yeah.
And we even had a falling out because how close I am with my siblings. We
Mm,
had our baby shower. We did a virtual shower because it's 2020. Everything's virtual. And then right after our shower, I get news from my sister. She's always wanted girls. She's had all boys. And so she's posting her videos of her baby shower. I'm like, oh, she has twin girls. Well, I'm all hyped in the living room. And she's like, you're more excited about them than us. I'm like, we are not going to do that. You're my girl. I'm about to marry you. I'm more excited about anything. Don't you
hey,
dare try to put me against my siblings and try to compare that. Like, I know y'all ain't that cool with each other. Y'all siblings and you ain't that cool with each other. But me and my family, we're cool. We might clash, but if some pop off, we're like this no matter what.
yeah, bro.
It's not like that for her.
How you just reacted is like, you know
My
how
jaw dropped. I was like,
the record scratch, like,
yeah,
bitch,
that's what it
what?
was. I was like, we're
Like,
not doing this.
are you serious right now? Like, how could you let something so crazy come out your
Where did that
mouth when I'm
where did that
hyped?
thought just come from? Like, where did
Yeah,
that come
like
from?
what the fuck that come from? Like, I'm here. What do you mean? I'm more excited. Like, bro, I understand, because, like I said, some of the shit that women say be so fucking left field, and that ain't even just because your ex fiance's background. That's just some woman shit at times, and it's like, bro, what the fuck really going on?
That's what you got from me being excited for my sister being pregnant as well. She's 3 months behind us. I'm like, we're gonna have
Yeah,
our kids, and then we get all the attention right now, but
yeah,
then she's gonna get the attention next because she's just happening next 3 months later. She's gonna have some kids.
yeah,
But for her, I think a lot of it was like she liked the attention. She got the attention. Like everything was me, 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 me. Oh, bro, I blew bread. We went and did the photo shoots. I had my photographer friend like, hey, I need you to hook it up. We went out to the what is that? Out to the sunflower fields. We did the photos. We did all the Zoom stuff. We're FaceTiming the family constantly. We're getting stuff in the mail. Like we're doing it.
yeah,
And it was just like the more positive that would happen, it would just seem like she would just kind of get weirder. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is okay. It's okay. Like maybe if your situation wasn't as bad as you said it was, and your family situation was as bad as it was, this could be awkward for you because this is new territory for you. You
yeah,
know, this is all new. So for you, if drama is your norm, and a lot of women, you hear women say it, oh, I just got bored. He doesn't fight with me or stuff like that. I'm like, he shouldn't want to fight you. You need to not have that mindset to where you need some kind of fight or drama to be content.
yeah,
And I just don't understand. I'm a guy. We're dumb. We're so smart and logical. We're dumb sometimes. It's like does not compute.
yeah,
Why? Why drama? Why do
yeah.
we need to fight? I
You
love
don't
you.
need
We're down.
you
You
don't
know.
need to try to figure that out. So let's transition to this. When you're with your kids, do she ever seem jealous, or does she ever try to interfere? Do you think that she's telling them stuff behind scenes to cause a rift in relationship? How is that?
So we don't communicate at all. We have a parenting app we talk through. We
Hmm.
don't we don't see each other unless it's I
Parenting
don't.
app.
We have a parenting app. It's called Talking Parents. It's cord. Everything that goes in the app, you can't take once you send it. You can't change it. You can't delete it. And anything we use in court. So it's
Oh, I ain't
strictly.
never heard about this parenting app.
It's called parent. It's called Talking Parents.
Talking parents. Okay, so tell us, how did you find out about this app?
My attorney, my attorney from day one. She's like, hey, if she's going to try to claim abuse and all this crazy stuff, because that's what she went to. I mean, we're sitting. I'm watching church service, And it's like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to work on? I'm like, oh, I'm like, right, like my relationship with my fiance, we're gonna get closer, we're gonna do this. I crash out on the couch. 2 hours later, she's panicking, she's frantic. And this is after we got in the fight 2 weeks before that. So we had a fight 2 weeks before that. She stays in the hotel for a couple. I was like, you know what? I was like, it does suck knowing that at any moment you can just say peace out.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we were married, if you just dip out, I can't force you to stay in the house. I can't physically keep you in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And we had this fight, and she's like, I want to do this, and I said, I want you staying outside. I don't want you staying at the house for 2 days. I'm like, we're not doing that. My dad never slept on no couch. My mom never put my dad out. We're not putting that I'm big on foundation and preparation. If you lay the foundation now, is if we get in a big fight and you put dad out, our kids are going to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because you grew up seeing that nonsense. That's not going to fly with me. We're not setting that foundation from that, and we're not going to do that. So you might be mad at me. I'll be in the living room. I mean, I like sleeping on the couch anyway, so I might just fall asleep just because I'm sleepy. But you'll be mad as shit at me in the living room. We're going to be mad together,
Right.
But just kicking somebody out, I don't want you at the house. I'm not leaving the house. If you choose to go to a hotel, that's your choice. You have a key here. You're welcome to stay here. But I'm not leaving my own house. You have no clue what it took me to get out of this hole to even prepare myself to be in a position to be a father and a husband.
So
and I'm going to play that.
So how often is the parenting app brought up at court? Like how often do they examine it, use it, or what?
We had one court hearing, but before that, it was COVID, so everything was behind. So I had to serve her because like I said, her mom was in town. We had a falling out. Things was even weird when her mom left, and I talked to her mom on the phone.
You served her?
Do what?
You say you served her papers?
I had to.
Okay, you served her for what? What was the reasoning?
So the reason is after mom left, literally the next day, we're talking about, hey, I think it was kind of awkward. Like, hey, my biggest thing was, I don't understand this whole having a battle with your mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from a big family. We should all be like this. We should be, hey, mom, I'm in town. I'm going to come kick it with you. My mom, hey, let's all link up together and go do something. That's my mindset the entire time.
Yeah.
So when things kind of were weird when her mom left, and I'm just like, hey, I called him like, hey, this whole throwing thing happened. And I'm like, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I've never put my hands on your daughter. I will never put my hands on your daughter. This is what happened. I don't know what she's gonna tell you. You're a mom. I expect you to believe whatever she tells you. I have no control over that. I get it. But at the end of the day, my job is to protect, provide, and make sure everything your daughter needs. And when she has, and she does, she has.
Mm-hmm.
I don't yell. If I have to talk to you like a dog, I shouldn't be dating you. You're my wife. You're supposed to be my partner. We're supposed to be like this. I'm not going to cuss myself out. I'm not going to put my hands on myself and put myself in a bad situation. So I'm not going to do that with you, But her mom leaves, and then the next day we get in an argument, and it happens. That all that happens, and then so she stays in the hotel, and then we talk. We get it figured out. Things are kind of cool. 2 weeks later, we have the kids. Dopest, craziest fucking experience of my life. And they had to cut her open, and I'm like, I'm in the scrubs and the camera, like, old school, the camera taking pictures. I'm like, oh my God, they gut you like a fish. Like, you can't feel anything? She's like, no, I don't feel it. I'm just looking. I'm like, whoo, all right. Whoo, that's a lot of blood.
I didn't get a chance to see that because it's emergency sensation.
Right, but we planned it. I mean, it was honestly, yes, we're not in a good place now. We're not in the greatest place now, but it was that I love that chick at that time. That time it can never change how I felt about her because I was in love with that chick, And so she's scared. I'm like, I'm scared. I'm like, hey, I'm right here. I got you. We're gonna get through this. Babies come out. There's one, and my baby girl was born first.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, 10:36 a.m., 6 pounds, 4 ounces. She's out there just, and I'm like, shit just got real. Like for me, for men, it is like we can't do anything, but when the baby's here, it's like, time. It's like, I will kill everybody for my kids. Like, it's like, hey, I will do whatever for these kids. And our kids are there. We're taking the pictures. We're laying down, and I think one of the biggest problems with her is not with her personally, but because they're premature, but they came out healthy. Both our kids were 6 pounds, 4 and 6 pounds, 11 ounces. So she just came around almost 13 pounds of baby, but because it was early, because that's what they do with twins, she wasn't producing milk. And I know I know it messed with her mentally. As a mom that's gone through this, she was kind of nervous about even getting pregnant, And so, and even at times at the hospital, the nurse was like, hey, ma'am, like, I understand you want a nurse, but we have to get the babies fed. And then she looked at if looks could have killed, these nurses would have been dead.
Yeah.
Look at them, like, give me a second. Hey, baby, I know you're upset. The milk was gonna come. You're gonna get this. I love you. We're good. But we gotta feed. And so unfortunately, it was a great moment, but sad moment for her because I had to do the feedings for her because she's in so much pain. We tried, and that really couldn't get anything to happen. So I did all the first feedings, first diaper changes. My kid almost choked on his own snot and stuff, and I'm like holding one. And I was just like sucking snot out of his face and spitting it out. And she's like, "What the hell was that?" And I was like, "It just happened. It's an instinct. I don't know what happened. I just saw her like choke for a second. I was like, snuck snot out, and we're good. You know, like who cares?
Yeah.
It's my baby. I'm gonna do everything for him."
Right.
And I would just sit
Hold on,
there.
hold on, hold on. You going too far. Why did you have to serve? What was the reason for
So
serving?
backtrack. Yes. So that all happened. We get home 2 weeks in, and she's kind of struggling a little bit, and she's like, "Hey, we need to get to it because we always plan on doing therapy before we got pregnant and married and stuff. So we're always doing therapy." And so she's like, "Hey, I don't think things are cool right now." I'm like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Like, "Hey, I need a therapy." I start calling like, "Hey, got an appointment Friday." Cool. Talk to a therapist. It seemed to go smoothly. We talked about it afterwards. And then 2 days later, come Sunday, we're just chilling. Next thing I know, she's packing a bag. She's rushing through the house. I'm like, "What are you doing?" The baby. She's like, I just can't right now. I need to be back in Oklahoma." I'm like, "You can't. You just had babies. Like you just got cut open. You're on pain meds. Like, what are you talking about?" Next thing I hear a knock on the door. It's her dad just flew in from Washington. Her parents aren't together, but her words, not mine. "I use my dad for money. We don't get along. If I need money, my mom kind of yells at him. He comes send me money. Does what he tells me to do." He's at my house. He's at my front door, and 2 police officers there. And so I'm like, "What the fuck is going on here?" I'm like, no, we're not doing that." She's like, "I need to leave." I'm like, "Nope, I have my kids like this. Just snatch them up. Bye. Y'all can all leave. We're not doing this. We're not fucking doing this." And so I call my best friend, my best friends. She came from an hour away. My boy lived in a town about 15 minutes away, about 15 minutes over. And I'm like, "Hey, this fucking chick is trying to take these kids, bro. And I'm about to lose my shit. I'm about to freak the fuck out." And even before that happened, like, "Hey, deep breath. Whatever's going on, we can figure this out. But if you cross this line where there's no going back," because I told her, unfortunately, this happened to my siblings. My siblings have had shitty first spouses and girlfriends and stuff like that. And I'm like, so I told her this kind of like, she's my girl in confidence. And I'm like, and I even told the doctor, my therapist, like, that's my biggest fear. It's just like her just running off with her kids. Only because we had that fight 2 weeks before the kids were born. And that's the first thing that came. She's like, "I would take them and leave." I'm like, "Oh, now that's in my head now."
Mm-hmm.
And so when it happened, I'm like, "You motherfucker." I'm like, "You're really going to do this?" Like, I just got quiet. I'm like, "Mom," I called my parents, put them on speakerphone. Like, "I need y'all to listen and make sure to freak the fuck out on this woman. If you cross this line, you try to take my kids away, there is no going back from here. I will not fuck with you ever again. You don't do that to people. And if that's where you solve problems and stuff like that, if that's how you want to solve an issue, like, how can you marry somebody like that?"
Mm-hmm.
You don't get your way, or we don't agree on something, you want to run off with my kids. So I got to think about my kids getting run off with after all this preparing we've been doing this whole time. This is where we go to. This is your reaction. I'm gonna get my way. I'm gonna run off with the kids. And that's what happened. Cops get there, and so we calm down. I try to, like, she's like freaking out. He won't give me the kids. I'm like, "I'm not gonna hand you my children so you can walk at the door and leave with my children." And thank God I didn't, because I was able to serve her. So I stayed at my friend's house that night. And then the next morning I come home. I'm like, "Hey, let's talk about this. Let's get this figured out." She's gone. Her dad, and I kicked her dad in my house. I talked to him on the phone. I asked for his blessing and everything for all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Talked to him a few times. I'm thinking everything's cool. But when he shows up, he's a dad. I get it. He ain't gonna hear nothing I gotta say. I got a daughter. I get it. 100%. But I'm like, "Bro, you ain't been a dad. That's why I'm hearing everything wrong for your wife, your ex-wife, and your daughter. You ain't been around, bro. So don't come and try to be a dad now. This is my house. You're in my house. You're not gonna tell me how I can do this with my kids." And so me and him get into it. My boy's there, and he's like, "Bro, you need to chill." I'm like, telling dad, like, "Hey, just fall back. The police are here. Let them handle that." You know. And so I'm trying to feed the kids, and she gets her breast milk. She was able to pump breast milk. I'm buying breast milk, bro. She couldn't produce milk, so I'm at every hospital buying breast milk. I'm dropping like almost like $700 on breast milk because she only wanted to breastfeed them. I'm like, cool. If it's only being breast milk, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm down. We got money. We got to handle. Life is gonna be good. She gets it out and dumps it out, so I can't feed the kids. Right in front of the, bro, she pours the breast milk out, so I can't feed the kids.
Hold on.
It's
Hold
like a
on.
terrible Lifetime movie. It sounds like a terrible Lifetime
Hold
movie.
on. 'Cause see, I gotta pull this shit out of you because you don't be telling all the good shit. So I gotta listen and then get the good shit. So uh, so
She
my
calls the
wife.
police. So she calls the police. I fear
Okay.
for my life. He's gonna hurt me. So the
Okay.
cops are there. I'm like, bro, I have no reason to hurt. I have guns. I carry guns. I'm Second Amendment all day. We carry
Okay.
guns. So I'm like, hey, if you leave, she's gonna keep calling. Now she's gonna say, I'm gonna try to shoot you or something. The motherfuckers are weird, but I don't fuck with cops. I have cop friends. They're awesome. Some cops are awesome. You just can't take the risk on the wrong day. Can't It
Yeah.
won't worth the risk. Hey, take all my guns. Here, take them. I don't want no excuse for nothing. No nonsense happening in my house. And so the officer's like, well, ma'am, you can't leave with the kids. Like, I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want. I'm leaving. I'm like, no, I will sit here all day holding these two babies in. We're gonna be here all day. And so we finally chill out. She finally gets to the degree, like, hey, if you do this, if he gives you the kids to feed them, because you just poured the milk in front of him, she poured it out in front of him. He's like, ma'am, really? Like, he's like, seriously? She chill. I'm not gonna take the kids and run off with them.
Hold
I
on.
kids.
So she poured the breast milk out in front of the police.
Bro, the police were about to make her leave my apartment because she wasn't on the leash. The police were like, officer, this is my house. These kids have my last name. Look in the fridge. Breast milk, food, everything. Baby cribs, everything. If she wants to go chill out with her dad's here, so she's somewhere safe. They want to sit in the hotel for a night, go have at it. But these kids are not walking out this house tonight. I guarantee that. He's like, well, ma'am, you can leave. And she's like, well, no, I don't want to leave. Like, what? She's claiming I abused her. How are you going to let her stay here?
Yeah.
How? Because if it's the other way around, I'd be walking out in handcuffs.
Right.
If I say, like, no, like, that's crazy. They're going to let us, like, well, she can stay. And I'm like, no, she's not on my lease here. You know, like, so if she wants to act a fool and be irrational, she can do that. Bye. But we're going to sit there with the kids.
Man, that's crazy. So you were spending $700 a week for her to pour out breast milk, and
Bruh.
she couldn't even produce breast milk.
Exactly. And why would I be a jerk about it? And why would I be? She's my girl. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you can't produce breast milk. That's fucked up. I'm like, no, I'm your partner in crime. We got this. I'll be back. I'm gonna go. I'll scrub down when
And
I get back to normal.
she was acting like this in front of the police.
Bro, the white girls don't care. They don't give a shit about cops. They know the cops got their back on shit. They don't give a shit.
Damn.
Just showing their ass. And then me, gigantic. I'm 260, bro. I'm big 260. I'm big dude. So I was like, bro, you're not gonna try to act a fool in my house, but I'm not gonna act and be cussing and yelling. You know, I'm not gonna be all this stuff because I'm a threat. I'm a gigantic black dude. I'm not gonna you're not gonna. And she went there. I'm afraid for him. He's just large. What's he look like? He's a large black man. And I was like, bitch, you
Hold on.
you had a Black Lives Matter shirt on 2 weeks ago.
Oh, bruh. So hold on. You're dating a white woman. She calls the police on you and describes you as a big black man.
Yeah.
That assaulted her.
I fear for my life. She had no speaker on. What does he look like? He's a large black man, like 6 foot, 250. I'm like, you're really going there. You're really doing that. Huh.
So race only plays an issue when she calls the police on you.
Apparently.
Oh, damn.
Apparently.
That shit fucked up, dog.
It was. And that's and one of the things, like, once I went there, like, you really can't mess with her no more. Because now all this is creating a paper trail. All this is creating a paper trail. And I'm like, you're not going to put me in that. No, I'm not going to jail over you. You know, we're not going to do that. And so I sit in my boy's house. I come back the next morning, you know, kind of say, hey, let's talk about this, get it figured out. Shit got crazy. Let's get it figured out. I'm texting all night, like, hey, I love you. I don't know what the fuck's going on. We got to get this figured out. Like, this is not what we talked about. This is not how we planned. I'm not sure where this is coming from, what the deal is for about this, you know. And so I come home, she's gone. And so my friend, his wife's an attorney and a family law attorney. And she's like, I'm going to tell you right now, said, you're in an uphill battle. And I'm like, what? I didn't do anything. She's like, it doesn't matter. One, you're not married. So fellas, I mean, marry before you carry. If it's going to happen, at least be married. Because once it's married, by law, they're legally mine. Even though my DNA, because we're not married, I have no rights. She would have walked. She would have got out. If she would have got out the state, I'd have been fucked.
Yeah.
From day one. And so I'm just like, all right, that sucks. And so I go to the courtroom. I go up to the courthouse. I haven't heard. She won't reply to anything. I go to the courthouse. I'm checking in my stuff, and I hear a baby crying. I'm like, that's my baby. Look over. She's in the courtroom. She's in the court office. She's in the clerk's office. I call my attorney. Hey, she's here. She's like, do not walk up to her. I was like, why? She's like, she's trying to get a restraining order against you. And I'm like, you're joking. She's like, no, do not walk up to her. Like, what can I do? You need to get this document, this. I went to the clerk. My boy was with me. What can I do? You can, like, you have somebody with you? Yes. Your friend can serve, but you can't serve your friend. So my boy picked up, got the paperwork, I filled it out. He literally walked around the corner, 10 steps, served her right there in the courtroom, all the cameras and stuff, and walked right back over to me. So when I served that thing, if she left the state, would have been game over. Would have been game over for her.
That is a blessing that you had an attorney to advise you in that moment right then and there.
Yeah, because what
Lot
normal guy wouldn't walk over there and go see their kids? Like, hey,
right.
my babies are crying. They're constantly crying. Your dad's just sitting there looking at them like, bro, pick my fucking baby up. They're crying, dude. What are you doing? You know, like, what the fuck's going on here? And so we serve her, and then I sit in there her hearing for the restraining order.
Oh, so she was going to put a restraining order on you.
Oh, she tried it. She definitely tried it. So I'm sitting there listening to her. I'm like, all right, I need to see what's going on. I'm telling her on the phone, my attorney. And she's like, well, he did this and he did that, and he's a threat to the baby. And the judge is like, ma'am, nothing you've told me makes me think he's a threat to the children. So I'm not going to give you a restraining order for the children. But she's like, but she's there distraught. And bro, you can sneeze and get a restraining order on anybody.
Yeah.
You don't have to prove. But the thing is, if you get a restraining order, that gives me a chance to come to court and talk my side.
Yeah.
They want that happening. So the judge is like, well, I can give you a restraining order, but not one for the kids. So when you give him, you have to give him his children. You can't be in his apartment. Okay. Because she said on record, that's his apartment. I'm not on the lease or anything there. So I'm like, cool, this is cool. This is turning out a lot better than I expected to be. She disappears for like 15 minutes, and I'm like, and the judge's like, hey, bailiff, we might have to go get her and go find her. You know, she comes back in. And so the judge like, no. She's like, well, if I can't get the restraining order for the kids, I don't want the restraining order at all, and walks out the court.
What? So she, hold on.
If I can't keep him from the kids, I can't get restraining order from him to see the kids, I don't want a restraining order. I don't care.
So she was just there so you couldn't see your children?
From the gate. It's
probably the same game her and her mother played with the father. And the reason I don't think the daddy was that bad is she could call her daddy and he just show up to your place, and it's a place of supposed threat and violence, and he shows up for his daughter. He can't be that bad. It's just a game that they probably play between the mother and daughter.
That's it. Oh, she said it. When her mom was here, they trashed this man like he was a piece of shit. They trashed this dude. And I'm like, God damn, like, you have zero respect for your dad. She's like, we're not even that cool. I just if I need money or something, just bitch him out, or have my mom bitch him out, and I get a deposit. And this whole time, I'm not knowing she was like this, but I'm hearing this with her mom. I'm just like, what the fuck did I get myself into?
Yeah.
And this is before things got weird. You know, this is before everything kind of went weird. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And so,
damn.
All that happens, she walks out the court. And so I'm thinking she's going back to the apartment. Gone. Disappeared for a week. She stayed in Colorado. But I called my attorney like, what the fuck? And she won't answer any phone calls. And then so she got her, at the time she didn't have an attorney. But so she said they talked to her attorney in Oklahoma, and they said I can leave. She said, well, they said I can leave. And the judge was like, no, ma'am. He's the father. You just can't leave with the children. So when you have to give them the kids, you can't be at his apartment. She's like, I don't want that. And he's like, ma'am, you're not going to tell me how to run my courtroom. Like, she's arguing with the judge here. And it's all written. I got all the records of everything. And I'm just sitting there like, this is insane. She's even trying to argue with the judge about this. So I leave, thinking we're going to go back to the house. I got to talk about this. No, she got a hotel or something with her dad. Didn't see her for I didn't see my newborn children. We only made it barely 2 weeks. They were born on the 5th, just popped off on the 21st. So barely 2 weeks by then. And then my brand new children, gone. Don't see them, won't answer texts, won't answer calls. And then I hear from my attorney, like, hey, she has an attorney now, blah, 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 blah. They want to work out apparently. I was like, what's the plan? She wants you to see the kids for 1 hour every other day.
What?
Fuck no. I was like, she can't produce breast milk anyways. I got all the breast milk in my house. And she could pump. And so I didn't want to, but my attorney's like, hey, we got to get some agreement so you at least see your kids. So I would get 3 hours every night. And I did that, and I was pissed off about that. Like, this is bullshit. I have brand new kids. I can't see my own children. This is my flesh and blood. I may not have carried them in my body, so I don't have that connection like a female, but it's a whole
and you did absolutely nothing to this woman to warrant her to do all of this stuff to go against you.
I never cussed this chick out. Even when she threw that glass, I got pissed. I'm like, you mother. I was like, ooh, I see what you're trying to do. I was like, no. You're not going to get me to catch me slipping. You're not going to get me in some shit that now you're having issues. Like, he hit me. I was like, you lucky. I was raised right. If I was somebody else, this would have been a whole different conversation. Yeah. Changed shirt, went to work.
at one point in time did she try to hit him with the car?
We get there.
Oh, it,
We're getting closer. And so now we're doing exchanges now. And so we get the parenting plan, we get the temporary parenting plan worked out. And so I get the kids every night. And mind you, we're doing these drop-offs in a parking garage with cameras. There were never police involved in our drop-offs, none of that nonsense.
mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, well, this chick's gonna take off with my kids. I only have 3 hours a day with my kids, let's and do what I can. So I'm like, I'm going to the park with the kids. Like I got them. I'm just hanging out. Like if this chick gets to leave my kids, I may not get to see my kids again, or I might be forced to be a weekend dad. But I'm with her. What? Hey, I'm not perfect, but I never provoke. I don't go there. I don't threaten to taking kids. I don't do that threaten game. That's a game I've seen happen to too many friends.
Yeah.
I didn't say, bitch, you're gonna do what I tell you to do. I never cuss this chick out. When I tell you I was on top of my P's and Q's with this chick, I was.
I believe you, and the reason I say because she was pregnant. And I know so many guys that let that pregnancy time when a woman's pregnancy actually be like a doormat. Like women walk all over men during pregnancy time. So I actually understand that.
You wanted to do that? I'm just like, hey, just because you're pregnant, you can't be an asshole just because you're pregnant. I understand you got hormones, but you can't be disrespectful just because you're pregnant. And at one point, her mom even said, hey, you can't be mean because you're pregnant. And that's before we had a falling out. That's before our fallout happened. I'm like, she's like, you just can't be mean because you're pregnant. I'm like, okay, I'm not tripping here. I'm not going crazy here. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want from me?
Okay, so go back to the parking garage. You said y'all was in the parking garage.
And so we're doing drop-offs and stuff now. And this is my birthday. I do Thanksgiving. My birthday's around Thanksgiving time. And so we're still tense there. I'm like, hey, I know you're out by yourself. Come over for Thanksgiving. I had my friends come over, and then my mom was coming in town. She'd get to see the kids. And the thing about it, we started being kind of cool around that time. And at one point we would start like kind of sleeping together again. We started like talking about reconciling, like getting back together and figuring it out, And so Thanksgiving comes around. She comes over for Thanksgiving. We're doing a family thing. We're taking pictures, all that fun stuff. And I'm like, okay, maybe we might get this sorted out. It sucks, but maybe we might get this figured out. But then comes Christmas time. Around Christmas time, same thing. Hey, you're more than welcome to come over if you want to. I'm going to my friend's house, a mutual friend's house for Christmas. No, I'm just going to rest while you have the kids. Cool. I'll see you later. I'll bring the kids to you after Christmas. Things are kind of cool. Come January, I don't know what it was. She said she wanted to move back into the place. I'm like, hey, and I got a therapist right away. First, I got a therapist right away. Never did therapy, never believed in therapy. But when that happened, I was like, I need somebody to talk me some sense into me it's not involved with that family member, nothing. And so I'm talking to my therapist daily. Like I'm blowing bread on therapy, like just constantly talking to this guy, like, hey, what's going on? I just want to know how to navigate this. I don't know what's happening. I never expect this to happen. And she's like, well, I want to move back in. I'm like, you want to move back in, but you said I abused you. I threatened I hurt my children. And you don't want to acknowledge it. You don't want to acknowledge that didn't happen. So what would me being logical, what would I look like you moving back into my place after you already tried to run from my kids just so you can run off the right way this time? Like now you come home, my house is actually empty this time. Like, no, you need to get a therapist. We need to get this figured out, get a couples counselor and get this figured out. No, I don't want to do that. If you don't want to do it, then fuck off. Oh, okay.
Maybe she felt like the kids were the pawn to make you.
It was.
She do what she wanted you to do, and that's probably what happened between her mother and father as well.
It's exactly what it was. I was like, quit trying to use the kids to get to me. Like that's messed up. That's fucked up. Like I told you what happened to my family members. Why are you doing the same thing? You said you came from an abusive background. Why would you throw a glass at me and act a fool with me when you came from this background?
Yeah.
Everything you talked about, you didn't want happening with your parents don't like each other. They never talk. Where are we at now? We don't talk. We're not cool. We're not close to each other. We don't kick it. We're not cool like that. So all this nonsense we talked about, you say you never wanted, you're choosing to make these choices. And to the point, she tried to play both sides. Well, my parents are going to cut me off and they're not going to talk. If I get back with you, they're going to be mad at me. And I'm like, but then she's telling him, he's threatening me. He's yelling at me. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? You can't, she's manipulative, super manipulative, just trying to play both sides,
So, what is it like going through the court system fighting for your children?
Bro, it's like being a convicted felon without killing somebody.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I was guilty before anything had happened. It doesn't matter. And if we were married, cool. But the fact is, all it takes is I feel unsafe.
Yeah.
That's all it took. There's no text messages, no pictures, no conversations, nothing like that that reflect anything like that.
So all she had to say was, "I feel unsafe."
I feel unsafe. That's all it took. And unfortunately, attorneys do encourage women to do that. It's very encouraged. Hey, you need to go get a restraining order against him, because you get a restraining order against him. Then he has to get supervised visitations, and that means he can never be around the kids by himself. That means you have all the control. And with her, it's control. I watch her mom act with her husband, her dad, and all this stuff. It's a control thing. I'm old. I'm a man. I'm a man's man. Like, baby, I got you. Be pregnant. Relax. Kick your feet up. You ain't got to worry about nothing.
Yeah.
But for her, I have no control. My body's out of control. World's out of control. My mind's out of control. All this stuff is happening. You know.
So what steps would you take? Would you tell a man to avoid like certain situations when it comes to pregnancy and the court system, like with his children? Like, what was some good advice that you got going through this court system from like
parenting classes, therapist and parenting class,
therapy and parenting classes,
because that way at least you have more people around that's just not her immediate family member or my immediate family member telling us stuff.
Okay,
we can take classes and get a couple or get it like there's new parents therapists. You know, like, hey, this is what you could expect to happen. And even with her, because postpartum, unfortunately for women, no one talks about it.
Yeah.
You know, that's mental health. Everybody found the hard way. 2020, mental health is huge. Yeah. For anybody, no matter how cool, how tough you think you might be. It's huge for everybody. And so she would tell me I'm depressed all the time, even after the pregnancy. And I'm like, hey, we go to the doctor's office. And she's like, well, so you're going to tell the doctor I'm depressed? In front of the doctor, I'm like, well, doctor, now she brought it up. She says she's depressed. She says this, and this, and this. I've watched videos online, and it's textbook. I'm not a trained professional, but she's saying all these things. What do I need to do as a partner to help her out? And at the end of the day, I'm not trying to be this douchebag. I just tried my best to be a good team player. I grew up playing sports. I'm a big fan. We grow up, everything, the teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah. You know? And she flipped the fuck out on me. I'm watching a postpartum movie, like YouTube video. She walks out the room and flips the shit, like flips over his fucking books and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? You think I'm crazy? I'm like, no, but you're not. You're normal behavior. You're not acting normal. And why would I call you crazy? Which will only make things worse. But I can study and learn and I can help them be there and support you.
Yeah. So how many times did you go to court? You said
once.
So you only went to court once.
Once. Yeah. So January rolls around. We're back to not being cool again. You know. And so I'm leaving. She's like, you try to slam me into the car. And I'm like, what are you talking? Like, you do know there's cameras here. You know, and I pulled the footage, and I have friends that are in police force. I'm like, hey, look at this video. Tell me what you think. I'm like, yeah, what am I looking at? Like, she just said I tried to slam her into the car door. Like, what is she talking about? You know, and she's calling like she's trying to involve some of my friends in this stuff. I'm just like, she's trying to say I tried to hurt her. And that same day, when she said I tried to hurt her, I'm put the kids in the back seat of the car. I'm walking to the front. She's parked right here. She just fucking floors it and runs up to the car like, are you fucking kidding? I even messed like, what's your fucking problem? The kids are in the car. You really trying to hit me? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Okay. Try to get the footage. It's magically gone. We end up having the same footage that I'm aware of. I mean, I feel like if she would have had the footage of that, she just would have got rid of it, because the lady I tried to get it from didn't say, oh, I don't have it. It didn't work. This happened to be the 5 seconds in there. It didn't happen to work, but every angle, everything else is fine. And so that happens. And I told my attorney about it, and she's like, you need to get a camera. So I really started wearing a little body camera, a little crappy little $20 body camera. I'm like, this little camera.
See, this is stuff you leave out. So you was wearing a body cam around your ex.
After that happened, the car situation, she's like, my friend, one of my best, she's like, no, this is bullshit. You need to get some kind of camera to protect yourself, because she's a mom, she's a female, and she's a white chick. That's all she says. You're threatening. You're going to try to hurt her. Yeah. And I'm like, and so at that time, the people are like, you can't do drop offs here no more. We don't want to get involved. We don't want cops over here. And so now we're doing this at a police station. Okay. So I'm like, cool, even better. And it pissed me off is I told my attorney from day one, do it at a police station, because you're going to act a fool and try to say I did something. No, just let it play off. You know, hopefully she can just chill out. No. And so we end up doing a police station anyways. Right. Cool with me. Cops are right there. Cameras everywhere. I ain't did nothing anyways. And I told her, like, the thing is with me, you want control so bad, you want me to act out of character with you. If I put my hands on you or threaten you one time, that's all it takes. Yeah. You're gone. I don't get to see my kids, and I'm on supervised visitations. I mean, I got to pay to see my own children.
So are you still on supervised visitation?
Never had supervised. Never had it. She just tried it. She kept trying to push it that way, and I'm like,
okay.
It's like, you're not gonna make me do it. I'm like, you're not gonna make me cuss you out. You're not gonna make me yell at you or threaten you. Because if I do that, you're gonna win. You'll win.
So how often do you see your kids now?
Oh, I got 50-50 custody now.
Okay.
And so when that happened, all the nonsense, court went down, and we had a family. It's called a CFI family. It's called a Colorado Family Investigator. So we had an actual court-ordered therapist interview my family, her family, our doctors, her doctors, everything. And then what pissed me off about that was, I'm like, the judge picked, we had two recommendations. She had two recommendations. The judge picked her person that was recommended. I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm fucked. They picked her lady. This is not going to go in. This is not going to end well for me, you know?
Yeah.
And so the CFI, she does her investigation. We get everything turned in. And the report comes back. This woman saw straight through the bullshit. Straight through it. And she's like, my recommendation is mother's not mentally, emotionally stable. Or financially, because she quit her job now. But she's like, well, he said I can be a stay-at-home mom. I'm like, yes, when we're together, but you want to leave. You can't be a stay-at-home mom now. What are you talking about? You want to act like I abuse you and then want me to still give you money to stay at home? You're tripping.
That's crazy though.
It's a crazy. I was like, no. And then before I told her about not moving, she's like, I want to move back in. I was like, you want to ask me for child support and move back in with me? No judge is going to let that happen.
Yeah.
You're not going to get child support if you live with me. What are you talking about? And so the CFI gets involved. She interviews the doc. She's just lying at her ass. Oh, my nurse said to do this. My doc in the report, bro. If I seen this report, it's the craziest shit in the world. The nurse like, I never told her not that, nor would I ever medically recommend that. I'll lose my job.
Yeah. So she was lying on the
bro,
doctor.
lying like it's her fucking job. She just had to sell the dream of being a victim.
Yeah.
Feel sorry for a poor white girl. I'm the victim. Feel sorry for me, shit.
Yeah.
And so she did all that. My CFI was like, the moment I met you, I did not think once you're abusive.
Yeah.
Not once. Like, she is just very, very manipulative. She knows that she cries tears. She's going to get what she wants to get to what she want to do. And this woman literally put in her report, mother's not stable. Mother does not want, from day one, she kept me, trying to keep the kids away from me. So mother would not foster a relationship with father and children. She made everything.
So in the report, it says she's not stable.
All of that, bro.
Why did they still give her 50-50 custody? I don't understand.
Oh, it got pretty bad for that for a second, because this all over a matter of 7-8 months.
Yeah.
8 or 9 months by the time this is all played out, you know. Her report gets submitted. I'm hyped. I'm like, fuck yes. Thank you for seeing the truth. Like, thank you. And she pulled up the drop off, mad as fuck. Has police with her. She's so mad. I'm like, why do you have the cops here? Like, I'm just here for drop off like normal. Like, what are you doing? Whatever. And I'm like, I need to know what you're gonna do. Are you gonna stay here? We're gonna try to push this to trial, or what do you want to do? Like, what's gonna happen here? If you want to move, have at it. I'm all about that life. I'll take care of the kids, all that stuff. I got it, you know. And the therapist even said, like, no, the kids need to be with the father. He's stable. He wants to, I know he will make sure mom's involved in the kid's life, but the mom will have nothing. She won't. And if she's allowed to move, she will cut him off the soonest chance she gets. We go to court. Even and my lady testified on behalf, and I found her ex-boyfriend, actually. I found her ex-boyfriend, and I had a conversation with him. I was like, bro, you mind if I record this? Sure, why not? Record it. I sent it to the CFI for their investigation. This chick followed him across states. He's like, I'm going fishing. He has a son. She would put her hands on this dude, cuss him out in front of his kid. She really left one state, drove 3 states just to make sure he's in the same place he's supposed to be at. And I'm like, dude, he's like, bro, I couldn't do that with her, because if I had kids with her, she would run off, she'd do that shit to you. So I was like, bro, I'm sorry for you, but I'm glad I dodged that shit. And I'm like, yeah, unfortunately. You know.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, if I need to test, he offered, he's like, bro, if I need to testify on your behalf, I'm down. He's like, I'm not even trying to get back at her, but I just know her with how she was with me and my kid. And she's doing that to you now. That's something needs to happen. Something needs to be said. You know, somebody needs to speak up.
Sometimes when people don't want to divulge certain information, we have to just dig deeper and see why they don't want to tell us certain shit about their past, their relationship. Because we're in this climate now where you're not supposed to ask people about their past, but actually you should, because when you go to jobs and so they ask you for your resume because they want to make sure you're suitable for the job.
Exactly.
That's just common sense. And so if I'm dating you, I want to make sure that you're suitable for us to have a good, fruitful relationship. So if I'm asking you questions and it feels like I'm picking and prodding and poking,
Bro, have at it. I've talked to my therapist about this for the last 2 years.
like you gotta let me in so I know who I'm dealing with. Like
Right.
this shit is weird as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, it's the strangest thing that I would never like. I had a falling out with a kid I went to high school with, and he told me about his kid. I said some fucked up shit to him about his kid, and I messaged him. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I went there with your kid. I never should have crossed that line. You know, I was like, bro, you're a piece of shit. That's why you're not involved in your kid's life. And then when that shit got flipped onto me, I'm like, oh
And now
shit.
you get to see differently now.
Hey, dog, I'm so sorry. I was fucked up on my. And he called me out on it too. He called me out on social media about it. Oh, bro, what happened to the family? And I'm like, and people are like, oh, that's fucked up. I'm like, no, no, no. He's fair. I'll talk shit to him. He has every right to talk shit back to me. I'm not even gonna delete that shit. It's
Yeah.
fair. Have at it, bro. You know, do you? Yeah, we did the whole test, but he testified on my behalf. The CFI testified on my behalf. The one that actually interviewed both sides of the family, she interviewed everybody.
Yeah.
And she testified. She said, no, I stand by my report. She went and got some attorney. She went and got some abuse counselor or some nonsense. And I started taking parenting class. And so we got the parenting classes before court. I'm taking classes. I'm already 6-7 weeks deep in classes. And I'm like, hey, I would like for you to come to parenting classes so we get this figured out, like how to co-parent. But then all that turned into is arguing back and forth in class. I'm like, I didn't come here for this. I came here to learn. And all you're doing is victim, 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 victim. And at the time, when you're a man, when you're innocent, you don't give a fuck. Get out my face. I'm not gonna sit there and play this game with you. Where you're brushing her off until she starts telling the truth. I don't care what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Right is right, wrong is wrong. I don't care what my truth is. What happened in the reality of things.
Right.
I don't care about that. I never put my hands on you. And you're gonna tell this narrative, and you're gonna pitch this narrative to anybody who wants to feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
I'm not here for it, you know. And it got to the point where even the parenting class people, one of the ladies got CPS involved. I'm like, and I didn't find this out until the investigator told me. She's like, I asked her, like, what happened? She's like, don't get mad at her. She didn't do it. It was somebody else. I'm like, who the fuck am I? Who have I been around to they even have that be an issue?
Yeah.
And then she told me, and then she's like, so what happened? She goes, I asked the lady why she called CPS. She couldn't give me a straight answer. Couldn't give me a legit answer or anything. I was like, I don't yell in class. Why would I be in front of a parenting class, people cussing out and yelling in class?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's only going to fill her narrative of me being the mean, abusive, yelling guy, abusive dude. Why would I do that? That's crazy. And at that point, I'm like, I don't care about this chick. Like, I care that she's a mom. I get it. But we're not going to resolve this. So I just want to make sure I'm good for my kids. Yeah. That's all I care about. I'm going to be a present father. That's all I know. My dad's been around. My dad didn't have a dad growing up. He's like, fuck that. I'm not doing that with my kids.
Yeah.
And he's been there for everything.
So how did this situation affect your mental health?
Bro, it made me fucking crazy. I was fucking losing my shit. I'm like, and honestly, I cried over it one time. And then when it over my relationship, I cried one time over my kid. It hit me like, my kids are fucking gone. What the fuck? I broke. I was ugly. I was by myself. I ugly cried. Like, didn't give a fuck. People could probably hear me in the hallway of my apartment. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna cry this one time, and I'm done after that. I'm not crying anymore over this shit.
Yeah.
After that, it's take care of business. What can I do? What can I control in my book on my end to make sure I'm ready for these kids? Mm-hmm. That was it. That's why I had a therapist. I had the parenting class. I just started going down the list. So when I go to court, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm taking the steps I need to take, you know. And let's talk about therapists. I got one therapist like, bro, this is too deep. I'm a little bit too new. So he's like, here's a recommendation. I started with a guy, and ended up with a woman. And then she's like, yeah, I went through a divorce. Unfortunately, my husband tried the same kind of situation with her. We didn't have kids, thank God. But he tried to say all the crazy stuff. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, how do you respect somebody that has no problem disrespecting you and trying to make you out to be an abuser? That's trying to keep you from your own flesh and blood. And then having a court that has nothing to do with any of this, tell me when I can and can't see my own kids.
I know the perfect way to solve that. It's called a hitman.
Bro.
It's called a hitman.
As fucked up as it's going to sound. I see why these guys that people are like, he's a normal guy. I see why these fuckers run up with their kids and kill themselves. I see it. I fucking see it. And it's sad. It's the most, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Yeah. When
you're accused of shit that you didn't do, it's the most infuriating thing because you have to keep your cool. Because if you flash one time, you fit the narrative.
You fit the narrative. But then it's like,
when can I speak up for myself? When can I speak my truth?
Is that, and then at the same time is I got to be so reserved in every setting. And people acting like we all aren't human. If I'm going through some bullshit and I'm innocent and I keep going through this, I got to have some time to lash out. But then it's like, at the same time, you got to keep your cool because it's a bigger goal at the end. Because if someone playing with your seed, someone you had conversations with, and we were going to build a family, and you trying to get married, and I'm going to do right by you, and feel it like you're going to do right by me, then and it goes left, I'm gonna feel a type of ways. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so playing with my child, saying I'm doing stuff that I'm not, and then my kids gotta go through this and see this and court records and police stations now, and
Right.
you trying to hit me with the car, trying to get tapes, and you pulling the police called on me. It's so much going on, and at the end of the day, these children are still in the middle of everything that's going on, and
And
that's
that
what
was my
you gotta
biggest
understand.
thing.
Children are still in the middle of our bullshit.
Hmm. And I
And
never wish this. I would never wish this. No one wants, no dad, no man that really wants to be in a kid. Like, there's guys that don't give a shit. They'll get a girl, knock them and dip out.
yeah,
But when you did the whole, I'm getting engaged, we're literally looking at wedding venues and wedding dresses before this popped off. So why would I think anything's off the rails?
yeah,
But I'm like, it would make you go crazy. And thank God, I'm a huge advocate for therapy. I tell my boys now, like, bro, anybody involved with anything that's stressful in life, you get a therapist, dog. I don't give
yeah,
a shit how many you got to go through, but just get one.
yeah,
Because I see why guys lose their shit and run off with the kids.
yeah,
But let's be real. Flip the roles around. If I would have run off with the kids and mom would have came after me, she's a mother bear. How dare you take a mama for their kids? No one gives a fuck about a man when it comes to kids.
right,
Well, she's the mom. She needs to do this. I'm like, no, we created this. We did this. And at the end of the day, we're going to split up. It should be only 50-50.
right,
Just logical. We
right,
made kids. You want to do your life? I'm living my life. We'll meet in the middle. That's how it should be. And a lot of places, a lot of states now are getting that way. But it doesn't matter when you've gone months at a time where he's abusive. And God forbid, and thank God, police didn't get involved. There were no supervisor, there were no restraining orders. She tried it, and thank God she was so selfish and just want to be so vindictive. She said, fuck it, just ran off anyways, you
mm-hmm.
know. But it makes you put things in perspective. It's like you really need to take a step back and really vet people out.
Yeah.
You really have to. Because if I had an inkling, and this is hindsight 2020, if I had an inkling of an idea, nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
I have an older sister, I have a half sister, and I've talked to her about this stuff. She's like, it sucked. My mom, and unfortunately on her end, her mom was the one that fucked over my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, it sucked because y'all were always with dad. I was never with dad. I was on the weekend with dad.
Yeah.
He was my dad first, and I'm like, and my kids have to deal with this shit, and it fucking hurts, dog. It fucking hurts my heart that my kids have to deal with it. I don't have a say in this.
Yeah.
It's my kids have. There's nothing unless God forbid if she were to die or something. But that'd be the only way they'd be around me 24/7.
Yeah.
But if not, that's it. I only get and I fought tooth and nail for 50-50.
Yeah.
But they were so young at the time. So when she testified, her ex-boyfriend testified, she's breastfeeding, and the judge, we took like 6 weeks for the orders to come out. And it felt like the biggest slap in the face I've ever experienced in my entire life. Because the judge let her move. Because you can't force her to stay in the state. They can't legally force her to. But I was like, what was the point of having her court ordered chosen person? What was the point of getting her involved in this then?
Yeah.
And I'm blowing money. She's like, oh, I'm poor now. I can't make any money. So I'm paying for everything. I was like, we weren't even fucking married.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, she's claiming benefits from the state. I'm like, she just had a job 2 weeks ago. She chose to quit her job. And I told her, hey, if you decide, when you go back to work, I have somebody come to my house and watch the children. 6 blocks away. I will let her know you come by the house. That way, cause I had cameras in my house. After that, I had cameras. I can't take no chances with her being around my place. I had cameras in my place. I can't take that chance now.
Yeah.
I was like, I have somebody that can be at the house 24/7, all during the week. And you can drop her off while you go to work. Well, I don't want to do that. Okay, well, I know the person because, like I said, I'm Uncle Said. I took care of her kids while she worked when her kid was a baby.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I would be happy to take care of your kids. You help me out she's a single mom. She's like, no, you help me out when I needed. Like, I had no one to turn to. Yeah. So, I will come stay. I will come stay at your house during the week and watch the kids for you while y'all both work. But she's like, I would not go to her house. I do not need her saying I did something to the kids. If she's crazy with you're the dad. If she's gonna be weird with you, she's gonna be weird with me, and I can't risk that. I have my own child to take care of. I did my own court situation. My kid's baby's that my baby dad, and he's messy, so I get it. And so it's just now knowing that my kids are in this environment now, and I don't know what the fuck goes on in our house. But and as a man, you're a dad, you're married and stuff. The moment you have your job is to protect everybody in your bubble. Half my bubble is gone half the time. And I'm just here. Have no clue what's happening around them. Who's around them? Who's getting if the hope, pray to God, nothing fucked up happened where somebody tries to touch him or something weird. But it's just like it's just so many loose ends as a man I can't protect. I can't do my job as a man to make sure they're always okay now because of this situation.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. If you ever need to talk, you can always talk to me. Um, your story, men need to hear it. Continue to tell men what's going on, your ups and downs through the court system. Um, just even little signs, just think back in a relationship, like signs that you might have missed and that you might have now you're privy to now with dating that you could tell men, hey, if this happens, this background, then
Right.
this person doesn't want to talk about this her ex or her past, you're going to get this, so you got to you've gone through something unfortunately, but it can still be a blessing to someone else's life,
Right.
so you can still be that testimony for other people. So, and men, we need that because a lot of men, we haven't been taught to talk about our feelings, the
Right.
things we go through. Was just told, just do it, just get over it, and just life continues and work hard and all of that. Like we have issues, we have problems, we have feelings, we break down from time to time, and so, like I said, just continue to talk to men and give them advice and help them through. And if you ever need to talk, I'm
No, I
willing.
appreciate it. And a lot of guys, especially black men, we don't talk about feelings at
Yeah,
all. You know, now it's hard to get over. Like, hey, I don't know who to talk to, but unfortunately, my brothers went through this.
yeah,
Like he's like, bro, just stay in the gym, pray, keep yourself busy,
yeah.
and don't let her break you. That's all it is. Don't let her break you because she break you, she wins.
That's all she want to do is break
That's
you.
all it is. Because
Yeah,
I told her like, if you don't want to get this figured out the right way, then we're not going to get together. And she's tried a couple times before
yeah,
I even moved. She tried it. I'm like, I can't. As much as I want my family. I want our family to be together. But you're using that to get over on me. You're not really
right.
being serious about it. And because I can see that now, and I mean, I with you. I'll go to my court. I get my court document. I go over them things every few months, just like looking through something. Like, damn, how did I see that? Like, oh, did I do this? How did
We
that?
should that would be a good podcast of if you would like to do that. I don't know. I don't want to be too forward, but to
That's fine.
actually see like what how the court process is, because I think if a lot of people knew and hear more and more stories of the ups and downs of just the legal system and the L's and flows of it, I think a lot of people will slow up and think more cautiously about
Oh,
having
100%.
kids and who they have kids with, because you want, like I said, you wanted to be a joyous occasion bringing children in the world, and you had to go through all that within the first couple of weeks of having your children, and
Right.
you don't want anybody to go through that. But I think that'll be a pretty dope thing to just go through and listen to, what they had to say about the court documents and family and stuff like that. What Brad said.
It is, I mean, they say it's not absolutely. It has to happen. It has
Yeah,
to happen. Someone,
it definitely is needed right now.
because as a man, you're guilty from jump. All it
Yeah,
takes is I don't feel safe. It doesn't matter if it's true. And I mean, we don't think about this because kids and stuff, but everybody knows about divorce. Everybody
yeah.
knows divorce is trash. But everybody also knows it just takes I don't feel safe. He's threatened. Like all it takes. That's all it takes. I have no
Mm,
history of anything like that with my girlfriends. As a matter of fact, even for court, I had my girlfriends write character statements for me.
mm.
Girls I used to date, actual girlfriends, other moms, other families, even other therapists. They wrote for me. It didn't fucking matter. I'm a guy. Didn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that shit.
If I'd have been married, different story. Because she tried to get me to marry her when her mom was in town.
Mm-hmm,
And I was like, we just talked about this. We want to do therapy first. We want to make sure our families can be here. No,
mm-hmm.
you're right. We did agree on this. I'm like, cool. Had I done that First time being married would have been ruined. First opportunity of being a parent's fucked up. And now I'm fucked. I'm not jaded. I mean, it sucks. But at the end of the day, I'm a guy. These are the rules. This is my wiggle room. I get this so I can do what I can do with. I'm gonna work with. I'm gonna make the best out of it. You
Yeah.
know, and that's all it is. I mean, I don't hate the chick. She has mental stuff. She has a whole family member she needs to take care of. And I hope the guy she's doing therapy. I know nothing about her life. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you, dude. I mean, we don't hang out. Nothing. We don't communicate unless it's doctor's appointment or something related like that. That's it.
Yeah. It's the end. We need to do a part 2 of
Oh yeah,
going
for sure.
court documents. I think that'll be pretty dope. What they
Oh yeah.
said, her trying to put a restraining order on you and stuff like that. We should go back over that and stuff like that. Is there anything you want to say before we get up out of here? Where people can reach you, social media handles,
You ain't going on social media. I'm reckless. You
advice
see my post.
advice you want to give the men before we get up out of here?
My thing is this, fellas, if you're gonna get involved with a woman nowadays, honestly, you need to see if she has a therapist. See what her past trauma is. See what her past history with her family. Because at the end of the day, you want to be with somebody that gets it. That's somebody that really gets it. And if they have some stuff that they didn't kind of address with their family, friends, it's gonna come up, especially when you're married. So you already know what it is. You know, like, hey, when you're married, it's not like, oh, it's happy. It's like, oh, I see you every day. I get to see the ins and out and everything of every day. You know, and marriage. I mean, at least from my family members, my parents are like, no, marriage is a reflection. It makes you really look at yourself. It reflects everything back to you, you know, what's going on. And with that, just be careful. Not be careful, but just luckily, I'm not jaded to where I don't want to be married and stuff still. I still want to get married. I still believe in marriage and all love and all this stuff. I have a dope ass girlfriend. She's super cool. And she gets it. I mean, and I've been very transparent with her from day one. I'm not going to be some fuck boy that's trying to get back with his baby mom and be slick. You know, and so she's very on point. She wants questions. Here's my phone. Look at our conversations. Here's the parenting app. Look at our conversations. I'm totally open with her because the last thing I want to do is put somebody through that just wants to be with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's stepping into a big role. I mean, if we get married, she's gonna be my kid's stepmom. If we made that happens, you know, and I want her to be comfortable. She's great with my kids. The kids love her. She's been around them a lot, and just therapy, bro. Therapy, prayer, and take your ass to the gym. Don't start becoming an alcoholic. Don't start messing with drugs. Don't do none of that shit that's gonna put you behind.
Yeah.
The moment you do that is when you lose everything. That's
Social
it.
media handles, or you don't want to tell them that?
Oh man, next Cedric, man, Cedric Patterson's Facebook.
Okay.
Cedric 34, SEDRIC 34, IG. But all is baby pictures. Almost just baby pictures now. Everything's baby kid stuff now. You know, I post stuff about sports and stupid shit here and there, but everything else, 98% of it is baby stuff. You know, I love being a dad. Being a dad still, regardless of how it played out, still the dopest shit in the world. It's by far the dopest job I've ever done. I don't feel scared. I don't feel pressured. I've never felt nervous. I've always wanted to be a dad.
Yeah.
You know, I've always wanted to be a husband. I mean, for me, I never freaked out. I never got nervous. I was like, this is fucking what I want to do. If I can do this full time and never have to work a day in my life, I would do it all day, every day.
Yeah.
But you got to pay child support and bills. So life goes on. So you got to do things.
Oh, we about to get up out of here. I want to say thank you for coming through, sharing your story. We got to do this again. Next time you're free, I got some other podcasts. Y'all make sure y'all check them out. Y'all go follow said page. He gave y'all the handles.
Check out If Fathers Could Talk. My brother I spoke about a few times here.
His brother has a podcast as well. It's called If Fathers Could Talk. It's pretty dope from what I look at. I haven't watched anything, but the channel, the page looks pretty cool. Right. And they got a few episodes on there, but
check them out. They talk a little bit of everything. They're pretty, and we're guys, so we're pretty raw. We're talking to men, talking to other men, but we're also, let's get it clear. I'm not here to bash my baby mama. People have their own issues. People are human. They do what they deal. They deal with their battles. They have their own demons, vice versa.
No, you didn't bash it out. You just told what happened. You didn't say nothing.
Right.
Bad, you know.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, I made my mistakes. I'm being accountable. I had children, didn't do what I should have done the right way to have children. And so at the end of the day, you know, I just want to make sure, man, we'll get there eventually. I pray to God we're not this messy our entire lives, and it's weird. I really hope that one day we can be cool enough to where, you know, we can be cool. I mean, because our kids, I mean, thank God they're so young. They'll all, I mean, it sucks, but unfortunately, they'll always remember mom being her own place, dad being his own thing, doing their own thing, you know. Yeah. And so that nonsense they won't remember this nonsense. Thank God. So I'm hoping that by the time they're in school and all this stuff, it's not going to be problems. I would love to hope it's not going to be that way. But at the end of the day, and even if it is, stay strong. Therapy, therapy,
It's gonna be what
therapy,
you put
therapy.
into it. We gonna just speak positivity. It's gonna be
Yep.
what you put into it. It's gonna be good. You decide to get married. That's gonna be good and fruitful. Y'all have kids, gonna be good and fruitful. Y'all interactions with your,
I got 4 more to go, bro. I got to get 4 more.
oh shit. My wife wants she wanna have another baby. I'm like, I'm good at 2, bro. I'm good at 2.
After 2, it's easy.
Sheesh. I gotta add that to the soundboard. Sheesh. All right, then, bro. I'm finna get on up out of here. It's the New Normal
Appreciate you, man.
Podcast.
Everybody be safe.
I you too, bro. If you over there on YouTube, make sure y'all like the page, subscribe, share, follow. If you're on Facebook, same thing, and Twitter. It's a New Normal Podcast, and we gone. Peace.
Peace.